1. Panic won't kill you. Does it count if panic kills you slowly? Working paper 15 from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child reads, activation of the strain response increases glucose levels within the blood so on get more energy to fuel the fight or flight response, which prepares our muscles and brain to affect a sudden threat. Prolonged glucose elevation can trigger a cascade of events culminating in insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, obesity, and eventually a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. There is differently panic can cause a significant problem. The symptoms of panic are almost like some serious physical conditions. Don't just assume you are having panic. Get your symptoms checked out by a physician. 2. Irrational thoughts cause panic. No. The problem is not whether a thought is rational. The problem is whether a thought is believed. As stress hormone levels rise, we lose the power to acknowledge imagination is imagination and mistake it for perception. As we lose intuitive awareness whether we are perceiving, remembering, or imagining, whatever we've in mind no matter which process is producing it is experienced as perception. So what is fear is experienced as happening. For example, something triggers the discharge of stress hormones. I notice my heart pounding. I think it could be a heart attack. That thought, who is to say it is rational, releases additional stress hormones. Now, in what might be a life-threatening situation, I stop looking inward. I stop sensing what kind of processing is going on. Though the thought that this might be an attack is conjecture, there seems to be some evidence. The evidence, pounding heart, is real. So the thought that this could be an attack feels real. Fear is now masquerading as fact. I know I am having a heart attack. This puts me in the fight or flight mode. But neither fight nor flight helps. I can't fight off a heart attack. I can't run away from the heart attack. I'm trapped. I'm doomed. I panic. 3. Deep breathing helps. Not really. A study found that breathing retraining branch may make things worse. The researchers summarized patients receiving branch exhibited trends toward poorer end state working on both self and clinician-rated measures. We have suggested that therapists refrain from the utilization of respiratory control techniques as a way for dealing with or managing anxiety. An authority on panic says breathing exercises are maladaptive. In his book Anxiety and Its Disorders, The Character and Treatment of Hysteria and Panic, David Barlow, director of the Middle for Anxiety and Related Disorders at Brown University, writes, "Now behavior that enables avoidance of or distraction from the panic sensation is maladaptive. Because it's an effort to stay the patient safe from a false threat, that is, panic symptoms, high anxiety. Use of breathing retraining is discouraged and is maladaptive." 4. CBT is that the gold standard treatment for panic. Insurance companies might agree with that. CBT costs them less gold. But most patients don't agree. Only 1 patient in 6 becomes panic-free with CBT. This graph from a study published within the Journal of the American Medical Association shows the proportion of patients whose panic attacks were ended by CBT treatment. After 12 months, only 16% of these treated were panic-free. Patients receiving only CBT are in dark gray. 5. Medication works. Not for most people. In the graph above, patients receiving CBT and drugs are shown in light gray. The addition of meds increased the share of patients who were panic-free at 12 months by 14%. Is there any good news? Full disclosure, as an airline captain and licensed therapist, I developed a way of handling panic, so I am not a neutral observer. But 81% of my fear of flying course clients who experienced panic before taking the course became panic-free within the air and 83% became panic-free on the bottom. If that sounds intriguing enough to read a few pages of my book on this method, click here. A neutral observer, Forward Indies, awarded my book silver within the Best Self-Help Book of the Year contest.